Hi there. Thanks for joining our August feature release demo. The first item up on our agenda can be found in the accounts, contacts, and pipeline modules. I'm going to navigate to an account here in the InsuredMine dashboard. And once I've accessed the account page, I'm going to click on the notes section. This feature enhancement allows us to summarize all of the notes that we have within this account. So if I click on the AI summary tool, it will generate a summary for me to review of all the relevant information here. I also have the ability, once a summary is initially generated, to select a specific time range. So if I only wanted to look at the notes for the last 6 months, I can select that option. It will filter and regenerate the summary. I can also update this AI note summary at any time. So if I wanted to come back a year from now and generate a new note summary for this specific account, I could simply click this refresh button and then it will generate it again for me. Now, this particular tool can be found on the accounts module, the contact module, and within deal cards as well. In addition to that, we have also added a summary tool in the email section, where we can summarize all of the email communications that we have sent to this specific prospect or account. In the same way that the note summary functions, you will be able to generate your AI summary. Once it has been initially generated, we can update our time range, and we can also return this, regenerate it at any time. Okay. The next item we want to look at can be found on the search pages for accounts, for policies, and for contacts. If I go into the main account module here at the bottom of the screen, you will now find the option to adjust our page size limits. Previously, this was defaulted to 25 items per page. You now have the flexibility to lower that number, but also you can filter for up to 250 results per individual page, which will make it much easier to perform bulk actions on these accounts and contacts. Next, I'm going to navigate to a contact in the system. Let me go ahead and search one up here. This next feature enhancement allows you to send Google review requests and NPS requests directly from the corresponding contact page. So if I open up the contact page for Alex Test here, and then I come into the top right corner, click on these three dots, you will now see additional options to retrieve Google reviews via email or phone and NPS via email or phone. In order to process this request, all I need to do is click on the selected option, and it will deliver that NPS request to my recipient. Next up on our agenda is to review the pipeline module. There are several feature enhancements that we have made here. I'm going to start by looking at our deal charts. The pipeline deal charts can be found in two locations within the InsuredMine system. If you are in the primary pipeline module, click on the three dots here in the top right corner and select deal charts from the dropdown. Alternatively, if you are in the dashboard module, you can click this drop down arrow here in the top left, select pipeline dashboard, and it will also return you to the deal chart section. The first enhancement we're going to look at comes under the lead flow section. For lead flow, we now have the ability to filter by cards and quotes. To give you some idea of the distinction here, the cards are individual pipeline cards that you have created. Within those cards, you can actually have multiple quotes. So this number may not always line up one to one. You can have a single deal card with two, three, four different quotes on it for different lines of business that that person is looking to purchase. This now gives you the flexibility to look at from a high level the cards that you have in the system, but also if you want to get a bit more in depth, you can look at the total number of quotes, which may not match up. In addition to that, we have also added pipeline chart updates in the master report. So for the master report, the first thing that we have done is we have added additional filter options. If we click this filter dropdown, we will now see additional filters for the created date, the one loss date, the premium range, and credit agent. Just like before, we can select any of these filters, determine our range. So look at this. I can now apply my filter here and it will generate a report of all the opportunities that have been created from January of this year to today. Another enhancement that we have done is we now have the ability, if I save this as a report, I can give this report a name. And if I access the reports module over here on the left side, I can go into my saved reports. And once this loads in, I'm going to find that report that I just generated from the master report section. Previously, you were not able to schedule additional runs of this report through the system. If you saved a report from the master report chart, it would only ever contain the details you pulled just then. However, with this feature enhancement, we now have the ability to select additional run times. If we go ahead and click on the schedule button over here on the right side, I can set it so that this report with my filter I added previously will run on a weekly basis. I will say every Friday at the end of the business day. And then when I click save, this report will now run for me automatically every Friday in perpetuity until I turn this off. Returning to the pipeline module, in a previous feature release demonstration, we mentioned that you now have the ability, when you go into edit a pipeline, you now have the ability to skip steps and update any changes. So if I were to make a change to this initial step here, and let's say I switch it from a shared and private board to only accessing private, I could click the skip and aid button and it would update that for me automatically without having to proceed through the additional 5 steps. In addition to that, in this current feature release, we have also added the ability to select specific steps on the pipeline editor and advance there immediately. So rather than having to click the next button and navigating to step 5, instead I can now just click on the number 5 here at the top and it will immediately bring me to the pipeline access restriction step. Once I've made all the changes I need to make here, I can click skip and update, and then those changes would now load into the pipeline. The last feature enhancement that we have for the pipeline module comes in the form of bulk archiving actions. Previously, we were able to bulk move or one loss field cards. Now we also have the ability to archive cards in bulk as well. If I select all the cards I want to archive and then come here to my bulk actions at the top of the page, I can click this archive button. It will ask me to confirm the total number of selected cards, and it will ask me to verify that I want to archive these. Once I have clicked yes, those cards will now be archived, the page will reload, and you can see they are no longer available in the contacted section. Moving on to our next module, we have the engagement module. The options here for feature release, we did in fact add an option in the single contact drip section to multiple stop running SCDs. What that means is that if I go into a specific single contact drip campaign, if I access my analytics page, and I look at my custom range for upcoming single contract drip sends. So let's just do this through the end of next month. You can see I have a number of single contract drip campaigns that are going to be set to send within the next 30-day period. If I decide I do not want to run these automations, previously I could individually select the stop button here, but we have now added the enhancements using this checkbox on the left side of the page to multiple select and stop these drip campaigns. So if I do not want to send this drip email to any of these recipients, I would select the checkbox here in the top left corner, and I would click the stop button to process that action. In addition to that, we can also individually select the options, just like this, if there are a handful of single contract drips that you want to stop rather than all of them at once. Going back to the engagement module, the next feature release that we're going to look at comes in the templates module and is unique to the admin role. For admins, when you access the email template section now, you should see a drop-down option here in the top right side of the page, which will allow you to filter for a specific agent's templates. Previously, unless a template was shared with you, you had the same level of access that any agents had. You could not see additional templates unless it was shared with you directly. Now, admins have access to all templates that have been created within their instance of InsuredMine, and you can filter by specific agents created templates by selecting them here from the dropdown. The last feature enhancement that we're going to look at today comes in the e-signature module. So from eSign, if I access this page, once this loads in and I have a document that I'm preparing to send for signature. Once that document that you've sent out for signature is completed, the system is then going to generate a task within your task list to follow up on the completion of that item. For additional context on this specific feature release, you can access our release notes and navigate to the knowledge base article for the eSign task completion here. This knowledge base article has instructions for how to perform this task, as well as how to view it once it has been submitted via a completed eSign document. In addition, the release notes section has items for release. All of the ones that we've reviewed today, you can find their knowledge base items here. In addition, there are a number of AMS specific updates that we have made, which I'm unable to demo here in our demo portal, but I did want to update you on them here. So in addition to all the feature releases we looked at today, we also have some items for user management changes, which are unique to AMS. What this means is that if you access your user settings as an admin, you will find additional options here in columns depending on which AMS you're using. As an example, AMS 360, we have added an employee, division, department, group, branch, and broker for your viewing. Epic, we've added an employee, branch, agency, and department. And you can view the other enhancements for the other AMSs right here. As well, we have also added enhancements specifically for Epic agencies that are relating to servicing role filters in engagement. When you generate a list, you now have the ability to filter by specific servicing roles. We have also added the ability to assign pipeline cards via the renewal pipeline automation, depending on the servicing roles you have for them within Applied Epic. As I mentioned before, if you have any specific questions relating to these features, you can access this release notes section just by clicking on the What's New button here at the top of your InsuredMine page. Select the release notes you want to look at, and then click Learn More. If you do have any other questions upon reviewing these release notes, please do not hesitate to contact either your designated CSM or reach out to our support team using the live chat function here in the bottom right corner of the page. Thank you very much for taking the time to view this video. Enjoy the rest of your day